Hello and welcome to Into the Shadows. I'm Melissa. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, this is a podcast where we talk about all things shadow, all things unconscious, and dream work. I also share with you life stories and experiences and things that I've been through and the deeper wisdom that I've learned through those experiences. Today's topic is about dreaming, and specifically how dreaming guides you to wholeness. So I'm going to start with a little bit about my history with dreaming. Growing up, I remember having some specific nightmares, and in my teenage years, I don't remember having a lot of dreams. Even into my 20s, I didn't dream very much. It wasn't until I started to show up to life in a more authentic, truthful way that dreaming finally became something that was more profound. In my 30s, I remember having really amazing dreams that I couldn't quite figure out. I had one of those run-of-the-mill, super generic dream books. I would try to figure out, what the dream was telling me, but I didn't ever really quite get the message. And I would write those dreams down from time to time and just kind of leave it at that. Then I started to really trust my dreams because my dreams became pretty prophetic. Meaning I would have a dream about my car breaking down, and then a few days later, my car would break down. And I just remember thinking, that's kind of crazy. Or, I had another dream that my mom came to me and told me in the dream the circumstances of what would be around the time that she would die. And that ended up coming true. And that's when I really started to trust my dreams and recognize, there's something to this dreaming thing. It just took me probably about another decade to really show up to them and integrate them. So why now? Because I reached a place in my life where I was really stuck. I had tried pretty much just about anything to try and get through this stuckness. I mean, you name it. And I tried it. And that was really frustrating. And it was one of those moments where you kind of have that moment of I will absolutely not repeat this pattern again. I will not go another year where I am stuck in the same pattern, doing the same thing. I mean, for those of you listening in and you know that pattern of being on a hamster wheel, it is absolutely soul crushing, to say the least. So that's where I was. And I started to have some really interesting dreams. And I knew that my dreams were trying to tell me something. And so it was the combination of being really fed up with where I was at and wanting to change and heal and grow and not be in the same place I am next year that really pushed me into finally taking my dreams seriously and dedicating myself to show up every single day without fail and integrate. So today I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about what dreaming is and how does it lead you to wholeness. It's such a broad topic and there's no way I can fill in this whole episode today with everything dreaming, but I'd like to just give you an idea of what dreaming is, also why we dream, and what the psyche is. Essentially, the psyche is two parts of you. One part of you is unconscious, and the other part of you is conscious. The conscious part of you is the ego, and the unconscious part of you is your dream world. It's your subconscious. So you can think of it like an iceberg. At first glance, when you look at an iceberg, you see the top part of the iceberg and that's it. But upon deeper reflection, you recognize and realize that there's a whole other part of this iceberg that's underneath the water. And oftentimes it's bigger and more vast and deeper than what you see on the surface. That's how the psyche is. The top layer is the surface ego, and the bottom layer is the unconscious. In fact, 95% of the decisions you make and the behaviors that you have are unconscious. They're the underside of that iceberg. And only 5% is your conscious ego, which means everything that you do, for the most part, is unconscious. So to dismiss the dream world and say, oh, they're only dreams, is quite literally to dismiss 95% of who you are. I mean, just let that land and really think about that. That's crazy. So dreams come and arise from the unconscious. And the unconscious is not random. It's most of who you are. And the unconscious has a deeper intelligence. What is this deeper intelligence? Carl Jung, who is the father of dream work, and I talk a lot about him on my podcast. He essentially studied the psyche and he studied dream work, and he found that within your unconscious, in your dream world, there is a self-regulating function. So what do I mean by that? It means that there's a deeper intelligence that lives within you that is trying to push you to wholeness. Essentially, it's automatic. Just like the body heals and grows and breathes, does all of its autonomic functions, so too does the psyche. So you have this part of you that is just like the body, it's intelligent. It knows that you need healing and tries to orient yourself to that healing. Isn't that cool? I didn't know this about the unconscious when I started dream work. I had no idea that I had this innate divine intelligence that was asking and literally wanting to guide me to wholeness. It's like a best friend that you never knew you had kind of feeling. You can also think of this analogy of like the acorn, right? What is an acorn? An acorn has a blueprint inside of it. It has this divine orchestration, this intelligence that guides it to grow into an oak tree. It doesn't need to tell itself to do that. It doesn't have to worry about it. It inherently knows. It knows from this teeny tiny acorn that it's going to grow into this oak tree, and it doesn't even bat an eye or worry because it's innate. It's built in. And your dreams are the same way. Your dreams are this built-in, innate, divine intelligence that is within you. Honestly, it's just waiting for you to discover it. And within this blueprint of who you are, Carl Jung calls this the self. And he uses self with a capital S to magnify its importance. The self is the regulating principle of your being. It's a part of you that comes online when you start to show up to your dreams and you integrate them. And this deeper self is the one that has the blueprint. The blueprint, just like the acorn, it knows what you're here to become, what things that you need to shed, what obstacles and trials you need to overcome, and how you're going to grow through those. For those of you who've questioned life and why you're here, and asked those deeper existential questions, it's not out there to find. It is within you. And I know that's kind of a cliche statement and we hear it all the time, but once you understand dream work and this divine intelligence that's wanting to live within you, then you start to understand like, oh my gosh, like really it is within me. And something about that feels like you're coming home. On the flip side, so many of us live in our ego. And we live inside of these different roles that we play in society and the different personas we show up to in social circles and situations and friendships and relationships. And we have this kind of conditioning that we've grown up with that controls everything we do. This ego part of ourselves is why we suffer. It's why we get lost in the world and don't quite know who we are. The cool thing about this is dreaming will self-correct this. So when we start to listen to our dreams, when we start to integrate them, our dreams respond to our outside personas and masks and the things we avoid with pushback. So what do I mean by this? I mean that when you're showing up in a way in life where it's not authentic, your dreams will push back. You will have dreams about this inauthenticity and where you're wearing a mask or a persona. Or it might even show you the wound. I wouldn't even say might. It will show you the wound of where that persona first took root. So it becomes this amazing guide that's self-correcting and guiding. It definitely doesn't show you what you want to see. That is for sure. It shows you what the truth of a situation is. And it shows you how to correct it, how to show up more fully, and to show up in truth. Truth above all else is what the psyche wants. For my life right now, I'm working through some self-sabotage patterns, which I'll talk about probably in my next episode. But for instance, I'm showing up to my creative process and my voice, and I'm having deeper parts of me that are sabotaging. I've re-recorded this podcast several times and really struggled with perfectionism and allowing myself to fully be seen and to shine. And so how has my psyche pushed back? Well, I've had some amazing dreams where it's showing me these different self-sabotage patterns and how these self-sabotage patterns are literally what's holding me back. And so you can kind of see just through that example how dreaming literally becomes this living initiation. It's this beautiful process of showing up to life and having the psyche respond in real time to what it is that you need, what it is that's holding you back, and how to grow through it. Essentially, dreams take something that's unconscious within you that you were unaware of, and they bring it into your conscious awareness so that you can realize it and heal it. And it's amazing because dreams work on a somatic layer. It's very much connected to your body. So not only will you work through the mind, but you'll also work through your body. It will literally bring trauma to the surface. It helps heal trauma patterns. And depending on the kind of trauma you had, if you did have trauma, you know the 4 Fs: flight, fight, fawn, and freeze. It will show you these patterns and help you heal it through the body. A big pattern of mine that I've worked through is fawning and freezing. Because of my early sexual abuse, those were somatic layers that my psyche took me through. There's also an emotional layer. It helps you heal emotions. It helps you heal fear and sadness and abandonment. There's also a psychological layer, a shadow layer. It shows you these different personas and masks that we wear. It also helps you grow through a spiritual layer. And this is where inner alchemy comes in. So how I talked about this self, this inner blueprint that orients you to wholeness, this takes on a whole new layer and level when we bring in inner alchemy. Basically, alchemy is the process of inner transformation that the self uses. I'm going to go into inner alchemy in another episode because it's quite lengthy. But in a nutshell, Carl Jung studied dreams for so many years. And he noticed patterns and themes and colors and just these different reoccurring themes that happened within himself and his clients. And then he came across alchemy, this ancient alchemical text. And he noticed that his client's dreams and his dreams matched up with these inner alchemical processes. So he was seeing in real time how dreaming actually mirrored alchemy, which is crazy and so cool. And I can only imagine what an amazing discovery that was for him. But essentially, your psyche uses these different layers to transform matter into gold, right? In alchemy, it's the philosopher's stone. So it's moving through these different layers of inner alchemy that the self, this blueprint of who you are, comes back into wholeness. Just noticing the different layers of inner alchemy has been honestly mythic. It's mythic. I sometimes joke that I feel like I'm in Harry Potter. I feel like this is like dreaming to me, quite honestly, is way more real than my waking life. And to me, I think that's really cool. And it's something I look forward to every night when I go to bed. I've said this quote before, and I'm going to say it again. So if you've listened to it before and you've heard this quote, then you get to hear it again. If this is your first time, I hope you like it. It's a Carl Jung quote, and he says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So when we start to integrate dream work, we quite literally take the reins of our life. We take back our power. We take back our ability to transform. We become these conscious creators of our life by simply tapping into our inner potential that's already there. Dreaming has been a godsend for me, and it has quite literally healed my trauma, so much of my trauma. It's helped me move through personas and masks and adaptations that were holding me back and keeping me from my authenticity. It's helped me as a mother show up in a more full, honest way. It's helped me with messages of how I can more deeply help those that I love. It's helped me get my power back. And it's helped me heal this generational freeze that has crippled me and kept me so stuck. It's helped me open up my voice. It's given me encouragement and confidence. And I truly don't know what I would have done in my life without it. If there's one thing I want to leave you with today, just this thought to start trusting your dreams. Start trusting this innate divine intelligence that lives within you. Thank you for listening today. I hope you have a beautiful day or a beautiful night, depending on where you are in the world. Bye-bye.